When you hear the word diet, what goes into your head? Weight loss, right? That's what diets do. The father of medicine 3,000 years ago said, let food be your medicine and medicine your food. What that means is erase symptoms by eating the right foods. How many diets are out there? Trevor puts this up. There's the 3-day diet, 17, then the Atkins. Look at the cookie diet, and the Dukin diet, and the Eco-Atkins diet, and the Fire Engine diet, and the Flat Belly. Look at some of these names. You all know the gluten-free diet and the glycemic index. Mayo Clinic has their own diet. Mediterranean diet's popular. Dean Ornish diet, paleo diet, slim fast, TLC diet, vegan diet, volumetric zone diet, etc. Those are some of the diets on the market today. Are you totally confused? Because I am too. You don't see on that list the phase 1 diet. Shh. It's for people who watch this show. I haven't popularized it by doing all of this work. What the phase 1 diet does, unlike I believe any of these other diets, is consider the etiology, the cause of your illness. So often we have fungal diseases that mimic arthritis and mimic diabetes and mimic cancer. Well, fungus must eat. And you know what it eats? A lot of the ingredients in some of the foods you can buy in containers. If you only saw the ingredients, the sugars, the corns, the mushrooms, and so forth, in some of these, you'd understand fully why these are good for a short period of time, right? Calorie restricting, but not good for a longer period of time. Join us today and learn about good health through your diet. It's that simple. So today we're going to talk a lot about the phase 1 diet. This was a diet, Kristen, that I named, 100 years ago. Phase 1 diet, because I saw a phase 2 and a phase 3, and I thought the phase 1 was kind of a cleansing diet. Kristen Kahn's joined me several years ago. She's a nutritionist, a chef, all the good things. And she got it. She and her husband just picked this up right away, and I wanted her to be part of the show. You know this as well as I do. These aren't on the phase 1 diet. Right. So kind of the American diet, you'd think a television studio, that would be part of it, right? So teach us here.
Okay, so the phase 1 diet basically starves fungus. And so it's different from the gluten-free diet because the gluten-free diet is very high in corn and sugar and things like that. And so what we're wanting to stay away from is the corn products. It's in everything. It's in the oils.
I was looking here in canned foods, corn sweetener and sugar.
Yes.
It's amazing the way they pickle or preserve some of these things.
Multiple ways. Mushrooms we want to stay away from. What else do we have here? Cornbread, the alcohol, yes.
All alcohols. And then this is very fashionable today, gluten-free. I mean, gluten-free is very big, but like you say, gluten-free is corn-rich and sugar-rich very often, so we don't go there. Little candies, we couldn't find many candies around. These actually look really good to me. They're like little sugary things. But at any rate, this is a no-no, okay? So what's okay on the phase 1 diet? Well, we've worked together for years. You help so many people rearrange their lifestyle and get better by eating differently. This isn't diet to lose weight.
It's a lifestyle. It really is a lifestyle.
So we start with good old eggs, and you take it from there.
So for breakfast, eggs are always a classic, and you can do your bacon. I actually like turkey bacon a lot.
Yep.
You can put all your vegetables in it. If you have leftover vegetables, it's great to put in that. You can do pancakes. There's almond flour pancakes, the high protein pancakes that Denny did.
Yes.
So good.
You know why they were high protein? Because we use nuts and seeds and so forth, making it a pancake that you can enjoy. People don't know that, that they can eat pancakes.
Yes, and you can actually freeze them. So
what's the grain, though, in the pancake? Is it buckwheat that we make?
I don't know what she did in there.
But you've made pancakes.
I've made, yes. Yeah. I usually do almond flour, and I like buckwheat. But you have to be careful not to get the buckwheat pancake mix because that can have wheat in it.
I mean, I'll have a slice of grapefruit, or 2 slices, 2 halves of grapefruit for breakfast, something like that. Then with lunches, we go into goodies like a salad with asparagus and fennel and things like that we put together. Really good stuff.
My favorite easy lunch is doing just rolled up healthy deli meat. meat
Yep.
with avocado inside.
Yep.
And it's just really quick and easy, so that's my go-to.
You can even roll up in Bib lettuce, you know,
Yes.
some ingredient in Bib lettuce and
Yes.
go that way. Dining with Denny and Kristen segments, we always talk about this. There is a steak salad that I remember Denny making. Mwah. It was, I'm salivating here thinking about this. A steak salad, everybody loves a steak salad. Many people don't eat meat, so just use the salad
Sure.
and take the steak out of it.
And you can put quinoa on a salad too.
And then dinner. You know, Denny always made, and you always come in here and show us how to make things like sole. You know, and the way you make it is really important. Frying it, steaming it.
And you can put almond flour over it to kind of bread it. You know, I know you don't like that.
No, I'm totally fine with it. There were soups. She made butternut squash soup. Through the years, we've learned so many new recipes. And by the way, you can get these recipes in our books. Is that a great name? Eating Your Way to Good Health, or Cooking Your Way to Good Health.
Yes.
That's what we got to do. When you used to counsel people, you found that they were sick, and by simply beginning this, changing their diet, they began to get better.
Yes.
Weight loss was almost a given, but what other symptoms?
Well, I will say half my clients needed to gain weight and the other half needed to lose weight. So it really, phase one works with your body. And if you're needing to gain, your body's going to get in balance and gain, and you're healing your gut so the body can absorb the nutrition. So I think that's really important for people to know. It's not a weight loss diet per se,
Yeah.
although if you need to, your body's going to naturally shed the pounds.
And if you can really have butterflied chicken that we made one time, it was absolutely the tastiest thing you've ever seen. Are desserts okay on a diet like this?
Yes, there are lots of options for phase one desserts. I've done, let's see, chewy chocolate cookies.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Those
Oh
are
my
really
gosh.
good.
We tend to get in our mind, if it doesn't taste good, that's the diet I have to follow. The reason I love Kristen and Denny is both of these amazing women came forth and said, clear this table off. Here's the way we must start eating. I was the guy who wrote it down, 30 years ago. Here's what I think people should eat because it starves fungus. But when you look at things like cranberry, lemon, muffins,
Yes.
they're all in our books, and you realize that you can eat a plethora of food on this diet. You won't go hungry. Now, let's talk before we stop this segment about calories. Do we sit with one of those little and count?
No, you're really listening to your body, and the foods are so nutrient dense, it's filling you up fast, it's got lots of fiber. So you're not counting calories, you're not counting fat, you're just letting your body do the thing and eat these good whole foods.
There's two ways to eat, unhealthy and healthy. And there's two ways to be, well and sick. And we have found there's a parallel here. When you eat unhealthy, you end up sick. And doctors don't know this. You'll run from doctor to doctor to doctor, and he may have these very foods in his kitchen cabinet. And so just understand, a lot of times we're on our own, but thank you. This is a way to eat well and feel well.
Well, if you go back 6 years, probably a few years leading up to that 6-year mark, I was tired, fighting fatigue. I started having all kinds of food allergies, food sensitivities, from being lactose intolerant to being allergic to chocolate, nuts, seeds, allergic to wheat. But as I would progress through time, I would just kept feeling worse. And I'd catch every flu, every virus that would come by, I would catch it. I just got tired of being sick. Until at one point, I even got the Epstein-Barr virus, which sent me to bed. I was just exhausted. And then after that, they thought possibly I had Lyme disease. They tested me for that, or the West Nile virus. That wasn't it. If I continued on this path, I was trying to develop an autoimmune disease, either lupus or vasculitis. And when he told me that, I was shocked because I thought I'd always exercised, I tried to eat right, something's got to give. So I found out about Doug Kaufman and his antifungal theories and his antifungal phase 1 diet, and I started, just went cold turkey and cut out everything that I'd been eating that I thought was healthy, that I found out through reading his material was not healthy. As soon as I changed my diet, within weeks of changing my diet, I started having more energy, I started feeling better, I wasn't sick. If this can happen to me, it can happen for other people too. But the most beneficial thing about knowing the cause and Doug Kaufman is, for 6 years now, I've been well. I don't have flus, colds, viruses, and I have great energy. If you want that, watch Know the Cause.
For the next few minutes, we want to show you a reel of people who had been to doctors and then learned of the Phase 1 diet. Remember, these are not actors. They didn't earn a dime saying this, but watch.
My name is Elaine Shobring. A friend told me about the Phase 1 diet. I went on it a month ago and I have lost 14 pounds. My only health concern that I have right now is arthritis in my knees. It's now time for another Synvisc injection in my knees. I can only have them once every 6 months. Usually I'm calling and asking how soon can I have one, and I have not even called the doctor because my knees haven't even been bothering me now.
My name's Shannon Mitchell, and I live in Springfield, Missouri. I got diagnosed with prostate cancer about 6 years ago, and I went to a meeting with Dawn Strom in Arkansas, one of Doug Kaufman's meetings, and I've followed the Phase 1 protocol for now about 6 years. And most of the people I know that tried other methods that had it, they're not here and I am. The meeting that Dawn took me to in Arkansas, Doug's meeting, was an answer to prayer.
About 5 months ago, I started having some health issues and ended up in the hospital and decided that it was time to start doing something about it. We went on the Phase 1 diet. In about 3.5 months, I came down from 300 to 260. I feel great. I was lifting a double-wide refrigerator out to a truck last night, so I feel really good. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for the knowledge that we've been able to glean here today.
I would be in a wheelchair today had I not done what I've done. I had MS. I had to leave work because I couldn't work anymore. I was home maybe 2 years, and I met a lady who I didn't really know too much. We started talking. She told me her story. She had reversed her cancer, her breast cancer, naturally, and Doug was the beginning of her change. And she started me listening to Doug on Know the Cause. She started me reading his books, and that was 4.5 years ago. I've lost 50 pounds. I have basically reversed my MS.
And the funny thing, when I was talking with Doug, before I left, I kept waiting for him to say, "Buy my magic elixir, 1995, it'll cure everything." But he never did that. He never tried to sell me anything. And within 3 days, my gout pain was gone. And within 5 days, the swelling on my foot was gone. Well, I was so excited I stayed on the diet, and I had several other minor problems, like I had fingernail fungus, looked like I could be a hand model. And I had back pains, and I was reading. I couldn't see when I read. I'm the last person in my family to not use glasses to read. But after being on the Phase 1 diet for 2 weeks, my back pain went away. I read like this now. My hands, like I said, they all cleared up, and it has completely changed my life.
About 10 years ago, I was teaching elementary school, and I started having some really strange symptoms. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease and chronic fatigue syndrome, and I had one doctor tell me that he thought I had MS. I went to numerous doctors, and I didn't really get any answers, and actually I was getting more sick all the time, and to the point where literally I was in bed most of the time, and couldn't even walk. I had to change what I was doing because I was getting sicker instead of getting better with what the doctors were doing, and I had no choice but to do something different. I was praying and I told the Lord I had to have some answers to this because the doctors weren't giving me any answers. The Lord gave me Know the Cause one day on Angel Network, and there was just something about what this guy Doug Kaufman was talking about that made sense to me, and I went to one of his seminars and started doing everything he said, the phase 1 diet, juicing carrots. I got on diflucan, and it took me probably about 9 months to a year, but I got well.
When following those diets, they probably went back to their doctor and said, "Doctor, a diet made me feel great." The doctor would think there must have been a contaminant in those foods. Oh, my friends, there is a contaminant in those foods, but many doctors don't know about this one. Watch. Food contamination conjures up the image of, pesticides and fungicides and so forth, but it goes deeper than that, doesn't it?
I think so. I mean, a lot of people are concerned about heavy metals, as they should be. They're concerned about what about the radiation from like Fukushima from a few years ago and things like that. That's something to be concerned about. There's a lot of contaminants. Obviously, on this show, we really magnify the contaminant known as a mycotoxin or mycotoxins, fungus. Fungus makes poison. Those poisons are called mycotoxins, and it says that we have got a real problem with a lot of certain foods in the American diet.
When you said "it says," I mean, these are major medical journals.
I know.
This is the Council for Agricultural Science and Technology. This isn't Kyle Drew or Doug Kaufman. With your chemistry background and your fascination with, nutrition, I'll bet in your early days you really thought, aha, fungicides, we're eating these and it's causing our brain to fry and so forth. Until you really study mycology and know that fungi off-gas poisons. It's a natural process. Once inside our body, these mycotoxins wreak havoc with our immune system.
It changed my life, Doug. And honestly, I never really studied any of this until you came on the air with a different show back in the day. And I was so interested because you were making some really big statements back then. And I think it was before Ruth Etzel published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. It was before the Mayo Clinic talked about upper respiratory infections. But you had been gathering research for 35 years looking at various components that say, here's a link between fungus and disease. And I wasn't too sure about it, but then I went and bought Principles and Practices of Clinical Mycology. It's before you wrote your book, Fungus Link 1.
You were a pharmaceutical salesperson at that time. So this must have really got you thinking.
It was great. It changed but I was so ready for it. I love nutrition, but this was the missing link I had been waiting for my whole life. What is that one component that we are seeing or that we're missing that's right in front of our faces that's causing all of these problems? I think you found it.
If this is new to you, remember, this is brand new to the doctor you go to. So understand this is a brand new science that you must know more about. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
In the beginning of October of 2012, I was diagnosed with neuroendocrine carcinoma. I was told I have a mass in the pancreas and that I had stage 3 metastases in the liver. In November, I began the phase 1 diet as well as some supplements, and I used the infrared sauna, the far infrared sauna, and by January, all the masses have shrunk in half except for the pancreas. It has shrunk, it just hasn't shrunk in half yet. I've had anxiety for years, that's disappeared. I've had thinning hair, my hair started to grow back. Dry skin is going away. I've had nothing but wonderful results. Don't make a hasty decision. Do your research. Start the phase 1 diet and then find the supplements that are going to work best for you. Take your antifungals. I've taken antifungals since.
About a year ago, before her daughter was born, Emma Jane, Kristen, our nutritionist friend, I gave she and her husband $100, and I said, try and eat phase 1 for a week on $100. Watch this. So Kristen rose to the challenge. I didn't know it actually could be done, so we give Kristen a $100 bill, right? And we tell her, go shopping, see if you and Brad, her husband, can eat for a week right?
On
$100. And you're used to going, and Ruth and I are used to going to big health food stores for everything, and indeed you did that with change.
Yes.
Okay, now tell us, you have breakfast and lunch, and later in the show we'll do dinner and snacks
Yes.
and so forth. So
Yes.
people, this isn't all you bought for.
Right, no, we didn't have a big enough table.
So teach us, yeah, here's what we did. Breakfast, frittata, scrambled eggs, and not grits like we're used to here in Texas.
Made out
something,
of
right.
creamy buckwheat.
Okay, there you go, the creamy buckwheat, which is delicious. And the smoothie. So take us through that.
So there's lots of options for breakfast. So what I've done, we've showed some of these recipes before on the show. And like for the creamy berry buckwheat, in the recipe it calls for coconut oil. If you're tight on your budget, just use butter. So there's healthy substitutions for everything and lower cost substitutions. So you don't always have to have everything that we're showing. So what we've done today is just kind of condense it down. The frittata is basically just eggs and vegetables. That's it. And you put it in a saute pan and you stick it actually on the stove and then in the oven. And it's an easy, transportable way to, quick on the go. So you can make it on a Sunday and eat on it for a few days.
And I'm seeing 8 pieces here, so you put some in foil and put it in the refrigerator until you heat it up again.
Yeah.
And vegetables used are phase one, the spinach, the eggs.
The eggs.
Okay, good.
And one of the things I wanted to show is that we're using all the same ingredients. So there's a handful of key ingredients that we've gotten, and we're incorporating them into almost every recipe. So it makes it really quick and easy, and keeps the budget down because you're not having to buy a ton of stuff.
I can see you in the store with your calculator,
Yes.
right? Okay, a head of lettuce and spinach and so forth. Did it boggle your mind the way it did mine? I really thought that was something you couldn't complete. I thought you'd call me and say, look, I need $80 more, but you pulled it off, and you pulled it off at a health food store.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If you just buy unpackaged food, like not the processed foods, and stay seasonally. You're buying the fresh berries and the vegetables and things like that, things that are in season. You look for sales. It really can work.
And then you went on to lunch. Here's tuna salad, which you can make many ways.
Yes.
I like that with the avocado. The chicken salad, and then that famous smoothie that you made. Okay.
So the smoothie is made out of yogurt and berries and some of the coconut milk. And you'll see then the coconut milk is added into the berry buckwheat. And then we have the yogurt with a little stevia and vanilla extract. So you can add all of these in. One of the things that I also did, so I bought most of this organic and stayed under $100. And then I went to Walmart and I just checked out all the different things. Got all the same things at Walmart, except the only 2 things we couldn't get was the creamy buckwheat and the liquid stevia. And you can get powdered stevia. And really, there was only a $12.04 difference between the mostly organic and the Walmart.
So in other words, the mostly organic stores was $12 more expensive.
Yes.
That makes total sense to me, because some things Walmart isn't going to stock a long time. People aren't going to use vegetable broth and things like that.
And they even had quinoa. They had
did
quinoa
at
at Walmart. Yes,
I am
they do.
so proud of
So
Walmart.
those that feel like they can't do phase 1 because they don't have health food stores, you guys can do it. You really can.
And you not only did breakfast and lunch, which I kind of thought, okay, my C note, we'll get that done. You also did snacks, which we'll talk about. Don't go away, because there's more to come on today's show. And you did dinner.
Yes.
So you and Brad could eat well for a week following the phase 1 diet for $100.
Yes.
You can't do that with fast food. That's how good it was. Congratulations, Kristen. It all smells and looks delicious. Way to go, Kristen. I knew you could do it. Now, when does the phase 1 diet become the phase 1 program? When is diet not enough? Watch. Kyle, when is starving the fungus with diet not enough?
Well, I think that you always have to ultimately kill the fungus. And by eating the phase 1 diet, that's what you're doing. You're going a long ways to first starving it. Plus, with all the vegetables and the good fruits that you're getting a lot of those good antifungals that will help kill the fungus. But sometimes you need a kickstart. You've got the natural antifungals, you've got the prescription antifungals. Sometimes your doctor, under certain circumstances, will recommend pharmaceutical antifungals, something like diflucan, something like nystatin, something like Lamisil, Sporanox. There's a whole host, ketoconazole.
Right.
There's a lot of antifungals. You stay on them for a certain period of time, But ultimately, a lot of us would like to be able to go to the health food store,
Yep.
pick up some naturals. There's a few that I brought, and believe me, there are hundreds, thousands of good antifungals. You taught me that a long time ago. That's another story. But here's just a few of these. This is called monolaurin. This is from coconut oil. It is nothing but antifungal. It's powerful. It's from lauric acid. Wormwood, which is known as an antiparasitic, also fascinating how antifungal it is. I brought this in. This is just zinc. Old-fashioned zinc. Not that zinc is more antifungal than one other mineral, but it's just an example of all the common nutrients that we find in a health food store that are antifungal. Here's one, old-fashioned iodine.
Yep.
People taking this for the thyroid. And this one, the only reason I brought this, and you don't even need to key in on it, I'll lift it up and show it to you. It is just homemade. I just made this one. I got a bunch of good essential oils, and I put oregano, thyme, cinnamon, clove, thieves oil, that's a Young Living product, a lot of you know them, frankincense oil, also from Young Living, and medium chain triglyceride oil. This
That's
is
the punch.
powerful.
That's
It's
the
got the
punch.
punch, right?
Yeah.
And it's powerful. You just take a, have to smell this.
Woo, just inhaling
That's
it.
potent.
I just cleaned out all the fungus in my nasal tract.
should.
Wow. Okay, so folks, sometimes what I want you to know is diet is enough. A month or two on the phase 1 diet and you feel good. What about deep mycoses, where the fungus keeps thriving and thriving and thriving despite your diet? That's what Kyle's talking about. Sometimes your doctor will prescribe strong antifungals for that, but a lot of times the health food store and the diet have the answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not old. I'm 81 years young, okay? I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, I think it was about 3 years ago, and I got on Doug's diet. I heard about him anyway, so the doctor wanted to give me several different shots or have an operation, take these seeds, and I said, no, I'm not going to do anything. So I got on Doug's diet, and I went back in 6 months. And he couldn't find anything. So my brother, he was diagnosed the same as I was. He had an operation, and he's having all kinds of problems now. Real strong on Doug's diet. I don't fall off of the wagon, so I stick right to it, nothing to it. Doug's just, I think he's a gem. I've got 3 or 4 of his books, and I watch him quite regular on the Dish Network, Sky Angel, and I'm really thrilled with what I hear. That's about all I can report anyway right now.
So there you have it. Folks, those testimonials didn't prep for this. They went on a phase 1 diet. Where is the phase 1 diet? It's in any of our books. I'd love it if you buy a book, but you don't have to. KnowTheCause.com has the complete diet. Just go to Getting Started, pull it down, and start on this phase 1 diet. Many of you are sick, and you're often sick, and you're running from doctor to doctor. Give the diet a 30-day trial and see if you don't hit the ball out of the park. We'll see you next time. God bless. Bye-bye.
Like 2.5,
Yeah.
maybe 2 minutes.
Come on.
Done.
Phase 1 eating. Good for your health. Prevents fungal infections from coming aboard. Delicious.